tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump.
Trumpified Radio. We have our new co-host Matthew Handy here. Matthew, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been, overall I'm doing pretty well. I'm just, sick of everything going on in the world and especially with politics in our country.
Yeah, that makes two of us. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it is. And, I feel like for those who are just tuning in, you're probably just tuning in because we just started the broadcast, so that would make sense. But but we're doing a relaunch of Trumpified Radio. We went on a little hiatus, and we're back. But we wanted to first, the RNC occurred, and then the DNC. And, and I don't even know what to think of these polls anymore. I mean, to me, these polls are basically, I mean, how do we even know these polls are legit? How do we even know ever in history of our country that any of these polls even were real? Like if I owned if I owned a radio station, I mean, a news station, I could easily just the whole time be like, Trump, it says Trump's winning 90%, I could lie about everything.
Yeah, of course, and these polls are rigged because if you look, Hillary Clinton, she can't even fill a gym. And you see Trump, his audience overflows, and Hillary's just dwindling every day. So these polls are rigged.
Yeah, and I mean, the crazy thing is that Hillary won't even, actually, on Trumpified Radio, I call her Hitlery, but Hitlery won't even, she won't even do a news conference where they ask questions. I mean, I don't even see how our country doesn't see that she is, I mean, you can't be president if you can't handle the heat of people asking you questions. I mean, as bad as Barack Obama is of a president, he at least can handle, press questions.
And she just can't. She can't speak off that. She just can't. She has to have a teleprompter every time. And like Trump says, she reads off the teleprompter, she goes home and goes to sleep. That's all she does.
That's all she does. And I mean, what was it? When she tweeted out about the horrible France attack, she's like, I woke up to this, and Trump was like, do we really need a leader who is asleep during terror attacks? That brings up. I just can't believe that Hillary's gotten this far. I mean, I know why she has. I mean, she has a ton of money from, homophobic countries that kill gays, that throw rocks at women, all sorts of screwed up shit. But I don't know. It's to me, it's this election is just bizarre, and I don't even exactly know. Well, first off, to our listeners, Matthew is actually a black conservative, which if you went on to CNN or whatever, they would say that black conservatives don't exist. But I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of black conservatives, and it's just the amount of. Just everybody is trying their hardest to throw Trump off of everything, and I'm not even sure how we can hit the pause button and figure this out.
Yep. It's all.
You there?
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're
but
fine.
It's all a mess. It's completely a mess. And we need somebody like Trump that can fix it.
Right, I know, absolutely. And especially, I mean, over the weekend, this whole thing with Khan, the Muslim father who, which, I mean, it's horrible his son was killed in combat, but, I mean, what is this purpose of this dude's, like, out of nowhere, 10 plus years later, he's decided he's gonna go and get all these paid speaking engagements on behalf of his dead son, and then the Democrats, capitalizing on this, it's disgusting. I mean, I do think Trump should have just not even said anything. Like who cares if there's who cares if there's this dude who says, Trump, you haven't sacrificed anything. Like, I think Trump's got to refocus himself. I don't know where his campaign managers have been, to be honest. I think they really need to step it up. But I mean, I can't believe that this dude just going on a rant, and then like how is that making national news? Yet there's so much other stuff. Like there are killings in Chicago every day that probably don't even make it. I guarantee you they probably don't even make it into the classifieds.
No, they don't. And I read somewhere the other day 30 people were killed by terrorists. They gave them some kind of poison and they were killed. CNN didn't even report it.
Wow.
So that's just the world we're living in now.
Yeah, and one, the political correctness factor has gone completely out of control. I mean, it's like walking on eggshells, and I feel, I don't think I don't know, ever since Barack Obama's been in office, like this whole white versus black thing has gotten more and more and more, and I don't think it really was there when I mean, I don't like President Bush, I think he kind of sucks, but at least I don't think the racial divide was as bad as it is right now. I feel like we're back in the 60s.
It wasn't, and the statistics show that. I looked it up, and you're right. So,
yeah,
he's just causing more division, and he blames it all on Trump. No, it's your fault.
I know, and it doesn't even make sense because Trump's not even in political power yet. So how if he's not making any of these decisions, then that just makes no sense. It's just typical liberal media and liberal politicians just always putting the blame on other people. But, you know, and the worst thing I've found as a Republican, but also a Trump supporter, is the amount of people who are quick to say that I'm racist for some sort, and it's like, one, being a Republican doesn't make you racist. I think the Republican Party is actually more accepting of people of all people than the Democratic Party, where the Democratic Party is full of, let's place everything into segregated categories and you know, called, all right, these are black people, these are white people, this is black lives, like, it's just the categories itself. Plus, whenever somebody says I'm racist, I'm like, all right, how am I racist? And they can never give an answer. They're like, because Trump wants to put up a wall, and I'm like, so that we can keep people out of the country who aren't coming in legally. That's not being racist. Every other country around the world has walls.
Absolutely, and border security is 10 times secure. We're just letting everything fly. And then when somebody finally speaks up and says it, oh, they're racist.
Yeah, exactly. And even in the music industry, as an artist myself, it's been hard because, I mean, there's some producers, because I like Trump, who won't even work with me anymore, pick up my phone calls, and it shows a lot that, one, these people are so ignorant they can't think on their own, because when you boil down to it, being a Trump supporter doesn't make you racist. If anything, being a heavy Black Lives Matter supporter, I think that's racist. If people want to play the race card, which I've never been a fan of the race card, because that's my favorite thing in The Heat, when the dude Melissa McCarthy is chasing the black dude, tries to play the race card, and she's like, "Don't play the race card with me." Oh. But I don't know. It's. I think, you know, and I mean, let's face it. I mean, the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I mean, I know there is a purpose for it, but I think it's definitely gone out of control. But I also think that they are judging the people who don't support that movement in just as racist of a way as other people are in this country, you know? So the whole liberal media thing is killing me, that they only show what they see as racist. I just think we need to stop even trying to, like, figuring out what's racist and what's not. And I mean, Clint Eastwood last night, did you see that about Clint Eastwood saying
I didn't.
So Clint Eastwood said he's horrified by the current generation, that our whole country's become a bunch of pussies. That's literally what he said. He said everybody's just kissing asses now, and you know, and when he was growing up, and even until pretty recently, none of what people call Trump for being racist was even being racist. You know, speaking the truth isn't racist. But this is, again, the liberal media, because they want to say, remember they tried saying that Trump doesn't treat women fairly, and it doesn't make sense because over 70% of his staff is females. He pays them equally. He's been the first to admit that he's found his female workers to oftentimes be more effective and following through way more than his male workers. And I don't know. I see this country has gotten to a point where the reality doesn't matter because the mainstream media is just able to bend it whatever way they want. And I wonder I was actually seeing the other day that that CNN was being paid by the Obama administration to put even some fake stuff on the news, to not include certain things, and I don't know, I feel like our country just is at a complete scramble. I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can talk about that, or if you want to talk a little bit about, or however you want, about Black Lives Matter, or I know you have a strong opinion and just overall know a ton about that.
I do.
Yeah, you should. Are you there?
We're being cut off for some reason. Hold on 1 second.
So, yeah, while Matthew's figuring that out, pretty soon we're going to have a call-in number for Trumpified Radio for people to call in. And it's really, really great to be back on air. We're going to, we're definitely going to still have prank stuff in future episodes, but overall, we're gonna really talk about politics, because we need to have there needs to be outlets for conservatives to get real news and to hear stories that aren't so liberally skewed. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So, so about Black Lives Matter, I mean, as a black person yourself, what is your opinion on Black Lives Matter? And, yeah, I guess that's a good start.
Okay. Well, I've been vocal about that. It's a joke. I really think it's a joke. I don't see any purpose for it at all, because if that was the case, then black people would stop killing each other. So I don't want to hear about it until they stop slaughtering each other like filthy animals.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some of them, they only come around when a black life is taken by a white cop. It makes no sense. It doesn't. And then they don't even condemn those black people that are actually killing their own. So it's just a joke.
Exactly.
And I tweeted out it is a movement fueled by ignorance, which it is. It doesn't care about black-on-black crime, and it has no kind of agenda. What is it setting to accomplish? Absolutely nothing but division.
Right.
And I think it's doing a pretty good job at that.
Oh, it's doing an incredible job at it. And when you think about it, imagine if all of a sudden I started the White Lives Matter movement, then all of a sudden I'd be called a racist.
Racist? Yeah, they would get on that real quick.
They'd love. I mean, if I put myself in that situation, I might even call into my own radio show and call myself racist just for that, just to join in on the liberal fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy because I don't know. There's just I know a lot of black people who can't stand. It's a lot of the more mature, middle-aged black people who are against Black Lives Matter. I've found maybe that's just, but it's an organization fueled by such hatred. Yet Obama's had several meetings at the White House, and. I mean, when has Obama's never tried to have? He's never invited young conservative groups to the White House to try to come to some common ground, see what it's like to live as a young conservative. And
sure.
I mean, isn't that what the job? If you're president, you're supposed to work with both sides, and
absolutely,
and also, this is the United States. It shouldn't even be sides. We need to. as a country, we need to come back together. And I mean, politics has gotten to a point where, as I've said in the music industry, some producers won't even work with me anymore, won't pick up calls, and I'm just like, F you, I don't care, you know. But still, you know, like politics back in the day, I mean, especially before we were born, but it used to be where, you know, you didn't have to agree on politics and you'd still be friends at the end of the day. And I don't know what's happened, but I mean, that the thing in Dallas, and then and you know that was ridiculous with the sniper, and then when I tried to say to some of my liberal friends, like, you know, that was ridiculous. Like, that's showing that Black Lives Matter does have violent people involved with it.
Yep.
And they were
and
like,
they claimed,
they claimed, no, that's an exception. And it's like, that's the problem with our current leadership, is it's always an exception. It's like, you know, when the Pulse nightclub got shot up, it was like, oh, it's an exception. It's like, all right, if your friggin' brother was shot in that club, would you still be like, oh, it was an exception? And you know, it's really, it's infuriating. And what was even worse was Obama, after the Pulse nightclub, was like telling us Americans, basically in his news conference, that we need to not be so-called racist towards Muslims, and that we can't call them blah blah blah. And I don't even know which side our own president is on anymore.
He's okay. I seriously believe he's a Muslim, and he's defending all these Muslim people because he's one of them. I won't say he practices extremely, but I think he is a Muslim, and because you cannot support and say we should not condemn those Muslims for what they did. They're taking innocent lives, first off, which is a no-go. I don't care if he was white, black, whatever. They're taking innocent lives. Because those people at the nightclub, they were partying it up. They were doing what they do.
Right.
And it's sad. You can't go to church. You can't go to a movie theater. You can't go anywhere. And those people at the nightclub felt that was their safe ground. And so anytime somebody comes in and destroys that safe ground, you're sitting left with nothing. So Obama should have really came in and said, yeah, this is where we have to stand up for not just those that were shot, but everybody. So he had his chance to somewhat unify us all, no matter conservative, Republican, whatever you are. He had the chance to unite everybody, and he didn't. He failed. And so he was telling Americans basically, back up off the Muslims. They're good people, but you just shot and killed practically an entire community. So I don't understand.
I know. And I mean, this is a little bit of a sidebar, but not really. But I mean, people who follow me on Twitter probably know I don't really get along with Milo that well. And there's a couple reasons. I don't think he really cares about Donald Trump and what he represents. I think Milo is completely about trying to be in the spotlight all the time. I mean, after the tragedy at Pulse, he, like, the next morning he was like, I'm driving out to Florida to be at Ground Zero and do a press conference. And it was like, yo, who the hell are you? Like what's the purpose of that? Like, it's already happened. He's not even a citizen of this country, so he can't even vote. Like, I don't know what his weird obsession with the whole thing. Like, and then when he got banned from Twitter, I almost wanted to send an email to Twitter and be like, thank you.
You know, I never kept up with him. I seen it. It was like Free Milo or whatever, and it was just something I seen. I didn't try to speculate. I didn't care who he was, honestly. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but I didn't. Some people, you know, you can't, I don't know, you just can't gravitate to. You just don't have that.
Yeah, I get that.
So after I seen his picture, I was just, no.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was funny, and then one of our other hosts, Ziploc, who's not here today, but he called my lord on Twitter. Was like, what's the point of you going there? What are you accomplishing besides trying to get more in the spotlight? And I mean, even when he got kicked off of Twitter, it was still the Milo show. It wasn't the I'm Milo and I'm here to support Donald Trump. And I think that's been some of the problem. I think as on the Trump train, I think we need to find ways to unify better, and I don't know. I just feel like this has been a horrible week and a half for Donald Trump.
Yeah. I do too. I watched Fox. I can't stand CNN anymore. Fox was even going in on him. And
I
it
know.
was just it was sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
And all I could do was shake my head because I was out of town and I was with my aunt and uncle. They hate Trump anyway. But everything that happened, they were just pointing in my face, laughing like, "That's your candidate. That's your candidate." And it was sad. It was just sad. But I watched his rally in Florida. He had a rally in Florida yesterday, I believe, and he was back to normal, on fire. So I think that's the Trump we need. We don't need that. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he needs to start gravitating and trying to reach out to those independent voters and those undecided voters, because as of now, they're with Clinton. And Clinton hasn't said a word about anything. She's just been laying low, letting this happen. So once Trump starts attacking Hillary, she's going to have to come up with some kind of rebuttal. So I think that's what he needs to do to get this train back on its tracks.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, I've been thinking about this lately a lot, especially this week. I think that the Democratic Party has turned into basically the Socialist Party, because even when JFK was in office, that to me is what the real Democratic Party is. And I think if I had lived during that time, I would have even I as a conservative would have gravitated towards that Democratic Party. But I could never be a part of this. You know what I mean? Being a Democrat is just I think that's been Obama, partly a lot Obama trying to phase into this socialist idea. Yet Obama can't get along with these socialistic countries. It's like, how are you trying to force this socialist type thing on our country, and you can't even wrap your head around how to make it work, because one, it doesn't work, but two, I don't know. It's just been a really frustrating week. I've barely turned on the TV at all for politics, because I can't watch CNN or MSNBC. I mean, everything they post, I mean, it's just like bashing. They just find like random people in the streets to just talk trash about Trump. And then they're like, all right, let's give this person a title. Let's call him a CNN news correspondent. And they're just like a random person down the street.
Yeah.
But
and what gets me is there was a Zika, whatever it is, it's a mosquito disease. It's been killing people worldwide. You don't hear about it. I had to literally put my glasses on and read the fine print that was rolling down the screen, because all I seen was Trump versus Hillary, Trump's fire. And so all of this nonsense, when they need to be focusing on the terrorism, the terrorist attacks, the poison, the mosquito disease that's been spreading like a wildfire, I just don't get it. There's more issues at hand than Trump kicking out a baby. Okay? The baby was crying. And if I was growing up in the church, if the baby's crying, you kick it out. I'm sorry, Mama, take the baby out.
I know.
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And growing up when I was in church, I mean, I have to admit, with the ADHD, it was hard to sit still there, so my mom would get me a coloring book or WWE magazine, and I would just sit there and I'd sit still. But I mean, it's like, yeah, if I was running a rally and there was a baby crying, I'd be like, can you like bring your baby out? Because it's just, you know what I mean? The thing is televised.
Yeah, it's distracting.
And I know for a fact that if Hillary or Obama had said, "Can you please take your baby out while I'm talking?" it wouldn't have left that room, you know?
No. So there's a bigger picture than just him kicking out a baby. So I don't understand. They'll take something, a little bit of whatever, and they'll blow it up. And like him eating chicken, okay, that's what I don't get. CNN was closing, and there was a lady, she was some kind of chicken expert, I'm guessing. That's what she called herself anyway.
Huh.
And she literally stood behind a desk, had chicken on a plate, and she was like, "You don't eat chicken with a knife. You just pick it up with your hands." And so Trump got bashed for eating chicken with a knife. I don't get it.
I know people were tweeting me
do
that.
not
People
get
were
it.
tweeting. They're like, look, this means he's not down to earth. It's like, yo, people can eat however they want. When I'm eating,
Exactly.
this is weird, but when I eat pancakes, like the hot cakes from McDonald's, and I'm in the car, I eat them with my hands. I hate syrup. I hate butter. Like, you don't see a news article about, like, it's just ridiculous, you know? I don't know.
It is. Any little thing they can find negative, they're going to throw it out.
And
That's how it works.
I don't even know how him using a fork and knife is negative.
It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. I eat chicken with a fork, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people just don't like grease. Some people I hate grease, and I don't understand.
I don't know. It's just been something. I don't know. These polls, you know, I don't know how to. I don't get. If these polls, you know, if they keep going in Clinton's favor, even though I really think the polls are skewed, they're fake. But do you think that will cause the whole election to just kind of be a landslide? Because I mean, we all know that Bernie Sanders got crazily cheated out of the nomination. I honestly think, you know, that's where when he was filling an arena with 30,000 kids, and then when it came time for voting and they said he was getting killed, it's like that. It didn't add up because maybe some kids are at home smoking pot all day. You know, they go to the Bernie rally high because it's fun, but I guarantee you, at least 20,000 of those people weren't there just for the sake of it being a Bernie Sanders
Absolutely not.
You know, and I'm sure they voted, and it makes no sense. And I'm worried that that's going to be what happens come November if we can't figure it out. I mean, even they tried to schedule the political debates during NFL games because they know that Hillary can't talk herself out of a paper bag. You know,
absolutely not.
No, I don't know.
I try not to worry about that. But that's something that we should be talking about, because if for some, you look at this, every poll before now, Trump was leading. It wasn't a big lead, it was a lead. It was 2 or 3 points. Now you have her, the last time I checked, it was what? She was leading in the state by 10. So I don't see how these numbers aren't panning out correctly. One day he's at 35, the next I looked he's at 32, and she's at 49. That doesn't even add up. It makes no sense.
I know, and then they throw in a random dude Johnson. They're like, oh, he has 15%. It's like 98% of the country doesn't even know who he is. I barely know who he is because I just don't care.
No, I really could care less. And he's not Trump. If I was Trump, I wouldn't even worry about him. He's nothing. But if Trump is somehow robbed out of this election, there's going to be hell to pay. I'm just going to say it. Trump, he could sue. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he'll take it to that extreme, but he could. But It's not adding up.
Yeah, and
Clinton, she couldn't beat Bernie. She barely beat Bernie, and she had to plan and plot on how to beat Bernie. So there's no way she's beating Trump. There's just no way. I don't see it happening. And if she does somehow pull out the victory, he was cheating. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm honestly as disappointed in the Republican Party as the Democratic Party. You know, I think the Republican Party is doing some really slimy things to Trump. You know, trying anything possible. Paul Ryan is the most passive aggressive piece of crap ever. He's a serious trash bag. Like he goes, oh, I mean, how can you say you endorse Trump yet every day you go into the news and say this is what Trump did wrong today? You know,
he disavows.
Right, and that's just so passive aggressive. It's like it's a joke. And that's supposed to be the leader of our party. It's like, I don't know.
You know, you've got Mitch McConnell, who and some people, they call me crazy. I actually like Mitch McConnell. Not as a politician, but a person. He's a good person. Mm-hmm. But you have Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, you have all these guys, and they've somehow formed a hate group. A hate group is what it is. And they've got all these Republicans on board. And I was reading something yesterday, and Mitch McConnell actually wants Donald Trump to win because he thinks that Trump can be easily manipulated and controlled with Mike Pence. So Mike Pence has been in politics for a while, and he's all in cohorts with Mitch McConnell, all of them. But Paul Ryan, he gets up, like you said, he disavows everything Trump says. Everything. He doesn't agree with nothing. And he says, oh, well, Trump's speaking on his behalf. I don't think that way. We don't think that way. It makes no sense because when Mitt Romney ran, all these people started forming. They backed Mitt Romney, knowing good and well Mitt Romney did not stand a chance.
Right.
Now you have somebody that can actually take the office back and defeat Hillary, and you don't even want to back him. He needs all the support he can get, whether he wants to admit it or not. Trump needs all the support he can get. And then you have the people in the GOP that just turn their back, and now they're voting Hillary.
I know. That to me is disgusting. That these are supposed to be political leaders, and all of a sudden, it's, you know, and that stupid lady. I don't even know her name. I'm gonna call her Miss Trashbag. You might know who I'm talking about. She's like leaving the GOP. She was like a high up Bush advice. What do you call it? One of those people. She worked on the Bush administration, and she's leaving the GOP, voting for Hillary, and it's just like, I don't even know. It's just, I mean, it's just crazy, but it's the fact is that the Republican Party wants to blame Trump for this, and it's like, no, they themselves are to blame because they're the ones who aren't standing by all of the principles of the Republican Party, which is, one, you don't attack other Republicans. And, you know, Trump was not attacking other Republicans until he started getting attacked. And then, you know what, he let loose. But, I mean, people like Ted Cruz, one, I don't like him at all. Two, I think he really cheated, especially when remember all the stuff he did to Ben Carson?
Remember, yes, he cheated Ben Carson. And
totally.
He said Ben Carson was out of the race, all of this. So he's a liar. And when he didn't endorse Trump, I knew he wouldn't. I knew he would not get up there and endorse Trump. But everybody was waiting on that endorsement, and it never happened. Never happened. And he says crap like vote your conscience. It's stupid.
I know. And I mean, I was almost embarrassed by that because at the beginning of his speech, the crowd, the way they reacted, I thought that meant, oh, he is going to endorse Trump. So I was like, this is great to see him on stage. And then as soon as he didn't endorse, I deleted those tweets, I think.
Yeah, I was waiting. Hey, I was waiting.
But it's just, I don't know. I'm just sick of. I don't even know what if this party is gonna exist. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the two-party system works anymore or what's even going on. But all I know is we need a leader who. We don't need a politically correct leader, but and even if Trump's not perfect, we need a leader who's going to speak the truth and surround himself with people who will get things done. And I mean, Hillary didn't even succeed as our Secretary of State. She gave access. She gave access to all sorts of lawyers and other people who never had the clearance to see what they were seeing. And I mean, I pray to God that Russia keeps leaking more and more stuff of the Democratic Party and Hillary's emails. And I don't know. I just and people were like, "That's horrible to say that." Blah blah blah. It's like, I don't care. Like, at this point, the Russians are wanting. It almost seems like the Russian government, Putin wants to see our country succeed more than our Democratic Party does,
Yeah. And she makes all these promises. She can keep this country safe. I don't know. She can't protect us. She couldn't even protect those over in Benghazi. So, no. And then Bernie actually said she's the one that can fix the broken system, because he's the one that preaches about the broken system and how it's all rigged, like Trump. Trump says that too. But how can she fix something? How can she fix the system when it's a source of her wealth?
Oh, yeah, I know.
She's not in it for the people. She's in it to line her own pocket. And just like she silenced those, she shut those, I don't know if you see it, a lot of people were coming out saying Bill Clinton sexually harassed me, raped me, and she silenced them quicker than I don't know what. She shut them down. And she stepped all over them, didn't care what they had to say, and neglected them until a few months ago when the lady came out and said, I'm one of them. Bill Clinton sexually harassed me, raped me, and threw me out to the dogs. So it's just all for her. She's in it for her and Bill.
Bill looks like he has AIDS. I swear to God he has AIDS.
Something's wrong with him.
I know. He should totally go to the next open audition for Rent, because I think he could get one of the roles in that easy. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, he just shows up stoned.
He looks like death. That's what he looks like. He looks like death. And she's not the hottest thing either. I won't even get into it. She's horrible.
Oh, she's gross.
And
she's not as gross. She's not as gross as Rosie O'Donnell, but
Rosie O'Donnell, she's a filthy, nasty. I won't even say the rest. She's disgusting.
Oh yeah, and I guarantee you, we're gonna have people tweeting at us saying we're bigots, whatever. It's like, no, look at her. She's disgusting. Like get this. So I'm in this musical Broadway group, and I'm the only one in this group that isn't who hasn't been on Broadway or won a Tony Award. And they told me back in the day during those actors, the actors workshops they used to do. They did one in Boston, and a couple of the guys were at it, and Rosie O'Donnell was there, and this was in the 80s, and she, from what they tell me, she showed up and she smelled like she hadn't showered in like a week. She showed up, her hair was greasier. Like when Trump called her a pig, she is a pig. He didn't mean to say. People thought that he meant that he was calling her fat, and that's not. He wasn't commenting on that. He was commenting on the fact that she's literally a pig. She never showers. She's disgusting. I mean, I actually grew up kind of idolizing her. I loved her TV show, and then she blocked me on Twitter because I support Trump, so then I got in that feud with her. But, she is just the poster child for what the our country has become, which is if you don't like what someone else has to say, instead of talking about it, you
shut them out.
You shut them out, or you call them a racist.
Yep.
And unfortunately, a lot of our country is so ignorant that they immediately think that that's what being racist is, and it's crazy because the reality is the Republican Party was started by African Americans, so I guarantee you, a lot of our country, of the black population of our country, doesn't even know that the Republican Party was started by black people. So I don't even know how being a Republican over the years has got this whole notion that it's a racist party. Because if it was started by black people, then how is it racist towards black people?
Exactly.
If anything, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, what was that? Was it NAFTA? What was the bill or whatever they put into place that put a lot of minorities into jail?
Was it not? I think it was not.
Yeah. But it's for some reason our country people in this country love to ignore all the bad stuff the Democratic Party does, and they either pretend it isn't there, or they always have an excuse for it, and it makes no sense, It
doesn't. And then I've got a friend, and me and her, we get along. We talk, we laugh, we joke. But when it comes to politics, I'm a racist. I'm wrong. She's right. And that's the end of the story. I don't understand. I've lost many friends just for supporting Trump. And many family members have turned their back because I support Trump. And I can't imagine. If you would have told me that a year ago, I would have laughed. Because you always think friends and family stick closer than anything. But as soon as you say something against them or something that they don't agree with, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And,
Yeah, I totally agree. So, on another note, apparently today is Obama's 55th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you. I'm not going out to the store and buying a cake for him.
No, he doesn't deserve it.
No.
I'm not saying happy birthday. I don't care.
Exactly. And I put out this tweet yesterday, and some people were tweeted at me kind of in obnoxious ways, but I said if people are going to criticize Trump for never being in the military, then why don't we first criticize our own president Barack Obama for never even being in the military at all, never having any involvement in it? Like, how is that any different?
It makes it Trump. I read Trump. He even said it in his book. Trump went to military school, so he's one step ahead of Obama.
Right.
He's closer than Obama. But it doesn't matter, because if you look at it, Trump gave more to vets than anybody. So it doesn't matter.
And
Trump
cares about our police officers, and
exactly.
Obama's fueling the fire for even more. I honestly think he enjoys when Black Lives Matter kills another cop. I
believe he does. He does. Not once has he said Blue Lives Matter, but it's always he does not hesitate to say Black Lives Matter.
Exactly. And then on Twitter, people will be like, when I'm tweeting about stuff about Blue Lives Matter, they're like, all lives matter. And I'm like, all right, then why don't you stop with your posts about Black Lives Matter? And they're like, that's not fair. You can't. And I'm like, all right, then I'm going to keep doing my Blue Lives Matter. And it's like, you can't have... Democrats want to have it their way, and then have, it's like they think that they have, and that's the problem, is for years they've been able to have their own set of rules, and growing up in school, elementary school, well, not really elementary, because I didn't really care about politics then, but in high school it was being a conservative, you weren't allowed to say anything. Like, if you did, all of a sudden you were like coming off as the racist.
Yep.
And I don't know. The past few weeks have really shown to me that what our country is really in trouble, and I've seen it more and more, but this past week has really hit me that our country really is full of ignorant people who support a party, the Democratic Party, that is the reason that they stay in poverty for their whole life, that their kids are forever going to be living in the hood. I mean, I, for one, never want to ever have to do, I don't get why people pride themselves on being a hood rat. Like that's stupid.
Exactly. So, yeah. Charles Woodson, he said, and I'm just going to paraphrase it, he said, this is about growing up in the ghetto. You must eternally eat out of the hand that's forced you into the ghetto. He says, if you do that, then you will never get the strength nor the courage to ever get out of the ghetto. So what he's saying is, basically, we've got people voting Democrat. These Democrats have suppressed, oppressed, depressed so many people, yet you constantly vote year after year, election after election, for the Democrats. The Democrats don't care about anybody but themselves and their families. And it shows. Obama, he's done nothing for black people. Hillary's done nothing for black people. And you constantly have all these blacks for Democrat. And I just laugh at it because it's ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans are the racists. They're the rich, stingy bigots, is what I've always heard. And
exactly, yeah.
if you look, history, as you said, history shows that the Democrats are the ones that's all in it for them.
Yep.
So,
and if anything, I mean, our tax money is, I mean, there's so much wastage of our tax money, and it's like, and they think the solution to running out of money is taxing people more. It's like, no, why don't we first look at what's being wasted?
Exactly.
I know for a fact that our tax money is paying for a lot of Obamas and Deval Patrick. I can barely stand. Do you know Deval Patrick, the dude?
I know Deval. That's the guy that Obama gets all his speeches from.
Oh yeah, exactly. But the problem with, I remember, so I don't know, maybe it was 4 years ago or 5, I can't remember, but there was a huge hurricane that came through the New England area, and it caused the wind was ridiculous. And all the power in most of Massachusetts went out. Well, Deval Patrick has a huge mansion up in the Berkshires, which is it's like a lot of celebrities live. It's basically close to upstate New York. But while his state that he's supposed to be our governor, instead of really helping deal with the problem, while all of us are sitting in the dark, this literally was 3 weeks of no power, and Deval Patrick had tons and tons of huge generators at his mansion, to the point where he was throwing parties, political parties, during this. Mm-hmm. And we're in the state that he's supposed to be looking after is, just we have no power. All our food was, went to, just soiled, just got destroyed. And it was just that to me was that's the problem, is on both the Republican and Democratic side, our current leadership is not there for we the people. They're for themselves, to make money and to really siphon tax money, and use it for their own benefit. And I think we have to clear house in both the Democratic and Republican parties.
Yeah. And I believe that all starts with Trump. Once we get Trump in office, he's going to do it.
He will.
He's going to put people in place that actually belong. And because it's all about, like you said, it's all about what I can get out of this. But Trump, what I've noticed is he surrounds himself with people that, first off, aren't yes men, that don't just go along to get along. They actually stand up for things, and when he's wrong, they're going to call him out for it. But he surrounds himself with people that are just like him. They put others before themselves. And that's the kind of leadership we need. We need a leader that's going to say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're going to do. And with Obama, it's all about what I can get out of this. Let's see what I can get out of it. Let's see what Michelle can get out of this, what my daughters can get out of this. It's all about him. And it's been that way for 7 long years. And we have a country that's going to hell. And Barack Obama, to this, right now probably, because I heard he's going on vacation, he's about to go enjoy him a round of golf. So while we're suffering, he's golfing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just reading some tweets. Some people follow my tweets like creepily close. It's a little weird sometimes. But yeah, so I mean, we'll keep going for a few more minutes, and then we'll do it another day, of course. But as one quote Sean Hannity said that I saw on Yahoo News was, "I'm getting a little sick and tired of all of you," which he was saying to the GOP leaders. And I don't know, I feel like at this point it's getting to a point where our own GOP members are actually, they are actually working with the other side. It's like it's now become them versus Trump, It's not even the Democrats versus Republicans anymore. It's like us on the Trump train versus everybody throwing stuff at us every day.
Exactly.
Do you have any final thoughts for tonight, or what do you want?
I think I've pretty much said everything, but I just think it's time for all of us on the Trump train to just rally together. Enough of this bickering. We just need to get together, because that's the only way we can take these people down. The establishment. That's the only way we can take all these folks against us down. Because there's no way we can conquer them if we're bickering amongst ourselves. So I think we need to just put all this stuff that happened earlier this week, behind us, and let's move forward.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, it's been a weird week, and it's only Thursday.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I would say thankfully the weekend is coming, but I mean, it was a pretty bad weekend for the Trump train.
It was.
So, I don't know. My final thoughts is I don't know why or how or why Paul Manafort and Trump's team isn't kind of. It's almost like they kind of let Trump let loose, nonstop. And I think I don't think that's Trump's fault, because they're getting hired to do a job, and I don't think they're doing it. I don't know. And I thought things had gotten cleaned up a lot after they got rid of Corey Lewandowski, but it's I don't know. But I know we're gonna rebound, and we're gonna be leading in the polls again soon. And
absolutely,
I'm honestly scared with the Olympics. If I pray at the Olympics there's no terrorist attacks. I just know that the Olympic Committee always picks the worst places in the world to do the Olympics, the places that have no money, the places that aren't going to do security. I don't know. Our whole, it's not even our country's in shambles. It's the whole world really is. But I know with real leadership like Trump, we will overcome that. And I don't know. I honestly, after this election though, I'm probably just going to become an independent, because I don't even necessarily I don't know if I want to be associated with the GOP because of the way they've treated Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially, I mean, the Libertarian Party, it's just like, you know, it's like the Libertarian Party just needs to like give up, because they've never won. They never will win.
Ever.
And they tried us. They tried. It's like, all right, you're either in the GOP or you're not. Like, I don't know. But they've never won.
Because all they do is they just mimic what Donald Trump and Hillary, or whoever for that matter, they can. They mimic both sides of the party, and that's why people gravitate toward them, because they're hearing both sides of the party by one person. And to me, that's senseless. That's stupid. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, this episode, this has been a good first time back. You know, and we'll get into the swing of it more and more and more. I've been filming for a TV show. That's why I've been AWOL, and my other co-hosts have been AWOL completely. But, you know, we're back and running, and this has been awesome. Thank you, Matthew, and we'll definitely...
Thank you.
If you're free tomorrow, we definitely can do something.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will... Again, guys, you're listening to Trumpified Radio, TrumpifiedRadio.com. We will be back tomorrow. And if you don't join us tomorrow, hopefully you guys do, but hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the Olympics. Hopefully nothing bad happens, and we will talk to you soon.